Hi, I'm Richard. I'm one of the tutors on the art school at Creative Innovation Centre. I'm going to take you through a number of techniques related to still life. Please note through the process you'll see the actual still life that we're drawing on the bottom right of your screen. Hope you enjoy. The still life that you can see in front of you has been set up so that you can see a green and yellow line. That green and yellow line is the eye level, which I'll refer to when demonstrating the drawing. You'll also see on the table 3 objects. Those objects are placed also so that you can see the shadows, and we'll also be exploring how we construct those shadows. So when preparing the drawing and considering the composition, obviously it needs to fit on this piece of paper. So the eye level at the moment, my eye level is above, i.e. that green and yellow line is above what I'm looking at. So I'm going to draw. What I would normally do is use a 2H, but because for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to do it with a fine liner. So this line that I'm drawing now refers to that eye level that you can see in the picture. Either end of this eye level, I'm going to put 2 crosses. And these 2 crosses refer to the vanishing points. The other pencils I have are an F, which is a medium pencil, and 4B, which is soft. So 2H for construction, F for sketching out the final drawing, and 4B for tonal and light and shade. I've also got the fine liner, a ruler to help me with where the lines are going to be, and I've also got this, which is just a straight edge that I can use to demonstrate where the vanishing points are for this drawing. So I would normally use a 2H for this, but I'm going to use an F just so that you can see it. So in front of me, I have the table. So I'm going to draw the front of that table just as a line. And because it's in parallel to the plane behind me, the wall, this table is in 1-point perspective. So there is a vanishing point here. So I'm now going to draw lines to that vanishing point. So these are the perspective of the table in front of me. I'm then going to make a decision on the width of that table. So now you can see I have the base or the top of the table in front of me. On the table, roughly at this point, is the front edge of the box, the larger of the 2 boxes. So I'm going to put that front edge of that box in with the pencil. To decide where these lines are of the box, I'm going to use these vanishing points. So with my straight edge, if you need one, you can determine that line, or you can do it by eye. And likewise at the bottom of the box. I can then start to think, based upon what I'm looking at, the width of that box. And likewise, start to draw these lines in, which are all going to those vanishing points, you'll notice. So that's the larger of the two boxes. So continuing with my structural lines, and these are faint lines, I'm starting to map in the smaller of the two boxes. So I'll draw the front edge, or in this case, that front face that's facing me, and this line I decided is the top of that, and that is going to that vanishing point also. Likewise, this one. These lines going this way go to this vanishing point. Now I've decided that my table is too small. So I'm going to extend my table. We then have the bottle, or the cylindrical object. Now, in order to decide where it is on that table, I'm using the other objects to reference where that is. So as far as that corner is concerned, the width of this top of the bottle, and I'm just basically mapping in where this bottle sits within this composition. Don't worry about the accuracy of this at the moment. Because it's an ellipse, therefore it has 1 point perspective, so we don't need to consider these 2 points, but we do with this one. So what I'm going to do is put in one of the ellipses, which is the bottom. I'm going to put in the one halfway up the top, and then where the actual top is there. Now, what you can notice from the image you can see of this still life is that those ellipses are getting thinner as they go higher towards this eye level. So therefore the ellipses are also in that perspective, or are foreshortened as a result of my relationship with that object. So the higher I go, the ellipse gets thinner. I then have my 4B pencil. So I've basically got my structure there. Like I say, I'm not too worried if lines are slightly out. But what I can do now with the F and the 4B pencil is start to determine exactly where these lines are. The shadows are. Now, there is a science to how we determine where these shadows are on the drawing. However, because you can't see this light source, but you can see the shadows, I'm going to suggest where that light source is coming from. But with any still life, you need to consider where that light is coming. So we know there's shadows here, here, and here from the drawing in front of us. So we know that light source is top left. And the light is coming down past these objects at this sort of angle from the light source above us. So I'm just mapping out on the tops, edges of these objects, which will determine where those shadows are. Okay, so now we've got the construction in front of us. We know where the objects are in relationship to the drawing. Just finishing off some of the, again, proportions related to what's in front of me. So adjusting that. And now I'm going in and finishing off with the darker pencil, the F, or the, in this case 4B, so that you can see it, the actual objects in front of me, or the actual lines. Okay, so now you can see that the lines that I've drawn relate to the objects in front of me. So I've mapped that out. Now I know where the shadows are, but I also now want to determine based on that light source, is where the shading is. We know that the light source is at the top left. Therefore, the top surfaces are going to be the lightest. The darkest surfaces are going to be those which are hidden away from that light source. So on the right-hand side of this bottle, right-hand side of this box and this box, yeah? And they relate to those shadows. So I can, as far as my final shading, or the darkest part of this, is going to be on these surfaces. I know these are the shadows. Now with shading a cylindrical object, obviously the shadow changes, basically. So yeah, I'm just shading the bottle in, but if you notice, the way I'm shading that relates to the geometry of the object. Okay, so I now have all my dark tones in. Now I'm going to put in the medium tone. So we've got the lightest, those are the tops, edges, and then we've got these medium tones, which are the other faces of the box. And likewise the bottle. And obviously you can keep on playing around with the shading to get it more flat as far as the shading is concerned. But ultimately, those are the techniques that you can use very simply to be able to describe a three-dimensional still life in front of you. So just to summarize, we had our eye level, which then allows us to map where the vanishing points are for the table, for the boxes, and for the ellipses in relationship to that eye level. I then decided to map out where the shadows were, and then used these three tonal variations. So the lightest obviously is the paper, 2H was the structural line work, F was the medium tone, and 4B was the darkest of the tones. Thank you, and I hope you found that helpful.